In this video, we'll understand how Keptn uses the shipyard file. This shipyard file has one stage called dev, one sequence within that stage called deploy, and in that sequence, we have one task called deployment. Humans and external tooling interact at the sequence level. We would trigger the deploy sequence in the dev stage. By default, sequences are standalone, but can be linked together to form more complicated or interlinked workflows. Consider this shipyard. We have one stage called dev, but this time we have two sequences, one called deploy and one called sequence 2. Notice that the sequence 2 sequence has this triggered on property. The triggered on event has a particular syntax. Stage name dot sequence name dot finished. When the deploy sequence in the dev stage finishes and the result is a pass, i.e. it worked, it succeeded, then run sequence 2 automatically. Of course, running a sequence in response to a prior failed sequence is also possible, which enables use cases like rollbacks. The Keptn specification shipyard document on GitHub has lots more information and lots more options for the shipyard file. Returning to our simple example. As previously said, we will trigger the deploy sequence in the dev stage, and Keptn will then orchestrate the tasks. Notice we're not mentioning tooling here. That is by design. Sequences should be reusable units of work that are tool agnostic. Keptn is designed in this way so you can swap your tooling at will. Keptn decouples the what, i.e. the sequence and the tasks, from the how, the tooling. Therefore, it is best practice to name your tasks and sequences tool agnostically. For example, use the word deployment, not deployment with tool X. So how does Keptn take this and translate it into work? We would like to trigger our deploy sequence in the dev stage. There are multiple ways to do it, either via the Keptn's bridge manually, via the Keptn CLI, or post via the Keptn's API. So here, we're posting to the API v1 event with a payload body that looks like this. The type follows a particular syntax, sh.keptn.event.stage.sequence_name.triggered. What you're saying to Keptn here is, please trigger the deploy sequence in the dev stage. Then inside the data block, we must pass the Keptn project, service, and stage that you have already set up. We add a header called x-token, and we provide the Keptn API token. You can retrieve your token via the bridge or via kubectl, but the easiest way is usually via bridge. Click the little person icon and click this blue button next to the Keptn API token. When we trigger that request, the post request is sent to Keptn, and we get a 200 response back and get a Keptn context ID returned. Now, this ID is unique for that sequence execution. The Keptn context ID allows you to look up the state of your sequence at any time in the future. When Keptn receives the deploy triggered event, it will first look at the shipyard file. Keptn understands that the deploy sequence in the dev stage has a task called deployment. Keptn will craft a deployment.triggered event and distribute it onto its event bus. In the Keptn bridge, go to the sequences menu. Notice we have a new sequence running in the dev stage for deploy of microservice 1. And if we click that, we notice that it is still running. We see the deployment task that Keptn has distributed on our behalf. Clicking the computer icons will show the raw payload of the events that are flowing through the system. Notice this event, sh.keptn.event.deployment.triggered, was automatically generated by the Keptn shipyard controller for us. We didn't need to do anything. Keptn tasks have a particular lifecycle. We'll go into more detail in a future video, but for now, know that it is expected that this sequence will never complete because we have not yet deployed a tool which will action or listen for that deployment triggered event. We will fix this in the next video. Thanks for watching.